What's up? My name is Chelsea and welcome to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be giving you a few tips on how you can find locations for your photography, whether it's for hard stuff that you're doing with families, like other kind of clients, or if you're just trying to go out and boost your Insta, I guess. First things first, if you are new here, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. And if you do enjoy today's video, do not forget to give it a like and drop a comment down below if you have any suggestions of tips that maybe I didn't point out, or any questions that you have on finding locations or anything photography related at all. So drop your comments, drop your likes, and hit that subscribe button. I'm wearing the same thing that I'm wearing in another video because I'm filming them both in the same day. And while that's all happening, I'm doing this in the meantime. So if you hear a beep, 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 I'll be back. So I wrote down 5 different tips on finding locations for your photography or Instagram, whatever it is that you're needing locations for. And the first one that I utilize probably the most is dropping a pin. Times I'll be riding in the car with my husband and we'll be driving through some neighborhood maybe we don't go through often, or go through it one day at like a different hour than we normally would. For example, we could be driving the same road we always drive, but we always do it in the morning, but then one day we go through the evening and you get that golden hour and that sunset and it becomes a whole different vibe. So when that happens, I'll immediately open my phone and drop a pin on my map just to kind of mark it. And I think you're able to put that pin in a collection, so you can always create a collection in your maps of photography spots or location scouting. You know what I mean? That's usually what I'll do. I have tons of different pins dropped all over, and when it comes time to do photography or do a shoot, or a friend comes and we want to do some kind of creative something, I'll kind of refer back to those pins that I dropped and kind of cultivate a vibe, a theme around that, or figure out what our vibe theme is and see which of those locations that are close to me that I drop pins for, and we'll do that. So the number 1 tip is to drop pins at your location and just know that it's there for photography. So the second tip that I want to give you is to visit locations. This is the most obvious one, but pictures can only do so much justice to a location or a place or whatever it is that you're looking at. So if it's somewhere that you're able to just do a day trip or go for lunch, something like that, then do it, because it is completely different to actually show up to this location that maybe you've seen other people go to. It's different to actually physically go and stand in the space, because like I've said in other videos, photographers, even if they photograph in the same locations, will usually still have different pictures because everyone kind of has a different eye for the most part. It's just different to actually physically go to a location, stand in it, fill it out. You can bring your camera, do test shots to see how it would photograph or picture in your head, what kind of model you would want, or the kind of clients that would fit perfectly with that location and with the vibe of it. Sometimes you may go and realize this is not what you want. You don't want to take pictures there, and that's great. You didn't waste nothing but a little bit of gas, probably, maybe, if it's somewhere that's close. It'll also help you get a read on if that location's busy, because if it's busy, you're gonna have to work around people walking in and out of the shot, or constantly have to direct people around, or having to stop and wait for people to come by. So that's something too that you definitely want to note when you're visiting the locations as well. But yeah, so number 2, visit the location. Okay, for the third tip, this one I feel like is kind of obvious too, but it's not something that I immediately thought of as something that was beneficial to me, and that is using Instagram location tags. If you know you're gonna be traveling to some kind of city soon for work or personal, whatever it is, what I would do is go on Instagram and type in the search bar the location that you're going to, and I think there's a tab at the top that you can click that says location. You click that and it'll pull up different places there, and you can actually look where people have tagged that city, that restaurant, that alley, whatever it is, and get some photo location inspiration from that. Be right back. Sorry about that. Anyway, I can't remember what all I've been saying, so if I double it, I'm so sorry. The point is, you can go on Instagram, type in those locations. You can type in just the city, or you can type in certain other places that you know that are maybe popular spots or places you've been that you thought, oh, that would be a good photography spot, but I can't remember exactly the details of the place. You can go there, see where different people have taken pictures in that location and pull inspiration from that, or anything of the sorts. You can also use hashtags too, so you can hashtag Nashville and and see who's hashtagging, what kind of locations that they're pulling from, see what the popular ones I think are. I think it tells you the popular ones, or yeah, I think it gives you popular and recent, and you can see what kind of locations that people really love and that maybe you could offer sessions there for, or anything like that. So using Instagram as your tool to find locations is a really, really big one. I feel like it helps the most people, and maybe the most people use it. If not, you will now. So use Instagram locations and tags to search for locations. Okay, so the third tip that I would give is find local photographers to wherever you're going. So some of them kind of have go-to locations, and a lot of times clients want the same kind of locations they're seeing from other photographers in that area or anything like that. I'm not saying copy the photographers, because I'm absolutely, no, don't do that. Do not copy another photographer. Even if you're in the same location, don't copy the picture, don't copy the editing style. Use your common sense. But you can see what's popular with clients, what kind of places they're asking for, figure out if there's somewhere similar to that that maybe you could use that people would want to go to. But yeah, absolutely do not copy them, but I mean, you can use the same location. Just make it your own. Make sure that you make it your own with the edit and the poses that you take. But you can find local photographers through Instagram or through Facebook, but if you're gonna use them for inspiration, I would suggest maybe following their page, or at least liking it, because I think that's real courteous if you're, I don't know, I just think it's respectful. And I always do. I always follow those local people with my photography account, just constant support. So if there's ever a time where they're in my location and they see that I'm on their feed, or they're like, oh, I remember this photographer that followed me, she's in a location, let me see where some good spots are before I get there, because I'm not gonna have time to look for a location. It's just beneficial. Follow people back. Be supportive of small businesses and local businesses. It is so incredible and it's so easy. That is tip number 4. So find local photographers. All right, and my very last tip for you, number 5, is to utilize your own location. So even if you are from a small town and you feel like there's nowhere to take pictures and there's no inspiration in these locations and there's nothing like how other people have, maybe they have the skylines, or they have mountains, or they have the ocean, and all you have is small town nothing, or however you describe it. I'm from a small town nothing, but that's besides the point. And it is very hard to find an actual location there, especially because there are tons of photographers, because it's a small town and you don't want to do what all the other photographers are doing just because it feels, I don't know, I don't like it. But utilizing where you are, so finding maybe those unconventional places that other people wouldn't have thought of, or you originally wouldn't have thought of, but because you went out and walked around and just took your camera and played around and just saw how maybe these locations could photograph. You could also bring your friend with you just to stand in front of the camera to help you gauge if it would photograph well for an actual client or not. That's what I do. I've done that multiple times. I never really travel back home, but when I do, I usually do a photography session. It's really tough coming up with a location when you feel like there's no locations. Utilize where you're at, just walk around, try to feel like you're looking at it with fresh eyes. If you have or know someone who's maybe out of town, maybe that's the person that you want to have walk around with you, because they've got the fresh eyes and they can be like, ooh, that's a pretty area, ooh, I like that, or ooh, would you take a picture of me with this in the background? You're like, you really want a picture with that in the background? Huh, maybe that is something that people like or would be interested in having a photograph of. All right, well, that is it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, I would really appreciate it if you liked the video and subscribe to my channel. I put out content like this weekly. Sometimes it's a vlog, sometimes it's multiple videos a week, and they're all a mixed bag. You never know what you're gonna get. One thing that I will always post about is photography tips, tricks, different kind of cameras that I'm getting, and how to work different film cameras, something I'm passionate about and then I'm gonna keep putting on here. Like I said in the beginning of the video, if you have any tips that maybe I didn't cover and you think is really great for others to know, you can leave a comment down below. Or if you have a question about maybe one of my tips or just something photography related in general, you can also leave that down below. I would really love to chat with you down in the comments. You can also follow me at Chelsea G Photography on Instagram and on Facebook. I would really love that. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a great week, and I will see you next time. Bye.